Good morning everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good because it's good to feel good. I'm a little bit tired, but we're raring to go nonetheless. Today I am heading off on a massive day trip, one of my first adventures outside of Amman, which is going to consist of going to Jerash, Ajloun and Qais, all in the northern regions of the country, and the latter is within like the border regions of a few countries in the area, so it's all going to be very exciting stuff. So Jerash is known for Greco-Roman ruins. Ajloun is like this ancient fortified castle and all sorts. And then I'm not really sure about Qais because I've not really done my research on it, but I'm sure we're going to find out a lot when we get there today. So yeah, without further ado, I'm tired, but we're raring to go. Let's have a fun day out. Okay, so we've just stopped off on a little petrol station here. My driver's just off for a little smoke break, and I tell you what's interesting. So instead of doing the order that I thought we were going to do it, we're going to go to Qais first, then Ajloun, then Jerash to end off the day. So kind of like going to the farthest point first, and then kind of doing it in that order. So that works out nicely for me. And also, I should mention, because I booked a private tour, I thought it was going to be only a few of us that are going to be on this tour, so like 4 or 5 people. It's only myself that's on this tour today, so it's basically the best way to describe it is my driver today is basically my personal chauffeur for the day, which is a very nice shout indeed.
And
Traffic's been halted by a goat. So we're just wondering about, this is my guide for the day here at Umm Qais.
Okay.
This is Amjad.
Amjad, living in Palestine.
Lovely.
Living in Jordan. I'm the heart UK.
So I've noticed as well, there's barely any tourists in this part of the country, so I'm quite fortunate to be one of the only people here today. So. Okay, so the first part of this, there's a little bit of an information video that you saw there, and what we are going to do is we're going to see the tunnels of where they built the Roman aqueduct that surprisingly never got finished, so hence the reason why we've got my helmet on, and hopefully I don't bang my head on anything like that. So yeah, let's go out and explore. I'll be very wary of my surroundings considering how tall I am, and hopefully if I can fit through the entire tunnel. It's nice and cool actually.
Yeah, very cool.
Amjad's just run away with my phone.
Hello.
Hello.
This is before the fire. The fire for the water and for the soldier.
There we go. Stand up straight again. Watch your head. Oh, did it again?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
there's a bat. Wonder if we'll see. Oh, hello. Whoa. Crikey. Yeah, we got ambushed by a bat there. It makes me think, I wonder if the Batman is about.
Syria.
So that would flow towards Palestine, that would flow towards Syria.
And this is go out in Egypt.
Egypt. Wow, all the way to Egypt?
Yeah, Egypt in the street.
Yeah. Let's go. Right. Oh, just as we say, mind your head, bang my head on there.
Look, sir, please. The Golan before Syria and now in Israel. The White House, this is the border Israel and Syria. Look here, after the Golan Heights, the Mount Hermon. Down here, look the green. The green, this is the green, the river Yarmouk, 7 meter, Jordan, Syria. After the green, we have the bridge. Look, the green, we have the Ottoman train, the bridge. This is before in Istanbul, in Haifa, Hijaz. And here, Israel, Jordan, Syria, very close.
Yes.
And the lake. Jesus, the walk in Tiberia and for the mineral water. The lake before Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, and now all in Israel. Look here, this is the castle, very small. In Jerash, very big. This is all before the bread and the olives. The church, look here, this is the chariot. For the chariot in the street.
Oh yes. It's dried up.
Yeah, and the gate is down here for the clean, the water and come here. And finish the water and down. The water clean.
Yes.
Yeah. Hot water or cold?
Very hot, lovely. Yeah. So to put into perspective, this viewpoint is like overlooking so many like countries. So in this region you've got Syria, and then Israel. In the far distance you've got Lebanon. That is the Sea of Galilee, and of course in that direction you've got the Palestinian West Bank. And it's quite interesting to note how like if I could legally go into some of these countries I definitely would do, but I know obviously entry restrictions and all that, and even the UK Foreign Office's advice is like saying you can't travel within 3 kilometers of the Syrian border, otherwise you may face prosecution or something. So this is as close as I will do in terms of this view, but it's lovely. I don't know if you guys can notice, but like you can just about make out the wheel marks of like where the chariots were racing. So these used to be like little shops and parts of a market, these were. Wonder if there's someone's going to give me a good deal in here. Maybe not. Oh. Right, time to... Do you know any good songs, Amjad?
Hello. Hello.
Oh, it's like when I went to Chichen Itza a few years ago, there was like very similar acoustics. Hold on. Hello. Yes, you can really hear the acoustics. So we're at the end of the tour now of Qais, saying goodbye to Amjad. He's been lovely, he's been a great photographer. Lovely to meet you, Amjad.
No smile.
No, of course, I know. But you've been absolutely incredible here today, so thank you very much. Peace
Good
and...
guy.
Yep, very good, 5 stars.
Yeah.
Peace.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Ollie in Bedouin. Nice, Jordan.
Yep.
Welcome.
Okay, so we've come to the second stop of today. We are at the Ajloun Castle, and this is like an ancient medieval castle that was like built around, I think it was around the Crusades it was built. So this should be quite an interesting experience, and also it's worth mentioning that I'm not going to do a guide for this one just because I'm limited with time, but we're going to go explore nonetheless. So I was just reading on one of the information boards is that, I stand corrected, it wasn't like a castle built for the Crusades, it was a castle that was never conquered during the Crusades. So one thing I have just been reading so far is like how Ajloun Castle was like a very important like fortress in terms of like Islamic infrastructure. And like, you know, and it stayed protected for like, you know, through many generations, through the Crusades, through the Byzantine era, through the Ottoman Empire, there's a lot of history to it. Okay, so the room where I'm walking through right now is what's called the Musalla Hall, which is essentially a prayer hall. I'm just going to read a little bit more about it, but it's like you could probably fit quite a fair few people in here during prayer times. Even though hundreds to nearly thousands of years ago, people must have, you know, risked their lives to defend this castle. I bet the soldiers were probably thinking, you can't beat a view like this. It's lovely looking out this way. Okay, so this room that I'm in right now is what was a Byzantine era church. So it's interesting to think like how, somewhat ironically, even though Ajloun Castle was like, you know, a marvel of like Islamic infrastructure, how like, you know, Christianity also had its influence in here as well. I tell you what I did notice, I'll just go over to the floor over here. If you notice this mosaic here, I don't know if you can make it out, I mean it's still somewhat preserved, but there's loaves of bread and 2 fish, which obviously the miracle of Jesus feeding the 5,000. So again, it seems ironic that there's Christian influence in here as part of what was an Islamic structure. I nearly made it to the top. Also, as we were doing, I was trying to film something there and I banged my head because of how low it was. So hopefully I can get through this, no issue. Even though the song kind of has its own meaning and all sorts, I feel like it's open to interpretation that Ed Sheeran Castle on the Hill is actually about Ajloun Castle. Oh, I'm on my way. No, I'm not going to sing it, I don't want to get copyrighted for it. We watch the sunset over the castle on the hill. Alright, we made it to the top of the castle. These views are absolutely incredible. So I think in that distance in particular, that is the West Bank of Palestine. But yeah, views up here are breathtaking again. Oh man, this is lovely. It's a really nice cool breeze as well, especially given how warm it is today. So this feels much needed and really beneficial. Another thing I've just been reading as well is how this hill, with Ajloun Castle on top of it, is 1,023 meters above sea level, and it's interesting how there's quite a lot of areas in Jordan, in particular the area surrounding the Dead Sea, which I think is around 400 meters below sea level. So it's nice, it's quite actually nice to see, like, you know, the contrast in terrain in different parts of the country that I'm traveling to, including what I get up to over the next few days in Petra and Wadi Rum and the Dead Sea as well. But from up here, it's all kinds of lovely. I don't know if it's just me, or maybe I'm just thinking intentionally. I love how kind of a lot of the stylings of like these walls and like fortifications of this castle remind me so much of like being around the old town of Dubrovnik, and I was only there just a few months ago. I mean, I didn't vlog the trip, by the way, but it was nice to be back there, and reminded me so much of the first time when I went in 2019. All sorts of lovely, and again, I love how like all these like castles and fortifications do give off similar vibes. And just like that, we're at the end of the tour of Ajloun Castle. It was short but brief, but lovely nonetheless. And it's lovely and sunny, and I need to put my sunglasses on. Don't know why I'm speaking this in vlog style, but anyway, it's been lovely. I'm now gonna head back to Zaid, and I'm gonna now travel to our final destination of today, which is a tour of Jerash. Given the timing, what time are we on? It's 2:30, so I'm gonna have a very short time there as well, but we're gonna make the most of it nonetheless. So yeah, let's head to Jerash. Hello. Hello. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Okay, so just en route, we've just stopped for a few minutes because there is a lovely viewpoint that we've stopped at, and in particular, it's looking over back at Ajloun Castle. So crazy to think, about 15-20 minutes ago, I was over there at Ajloun Castle, and then now I get to see it again, just from very far away. Okay, so we're at the final stop of today. We've finally made it to Jerash. Again, I originally thought we were going to do this as the first stop of today, but now that I think about it, given how close it is to Amman, it makes perfect sense to end off the day here. Anyway, we've got about just under 2 hours here, but there's a lot to explore, so I guess without further ado, let's go around exploring Jerash. I was reading on that little board, information board, before coming into Jerash, was that these are some of the largest Roman ruins outside of Europe. So one nickname for Jerash is that it's known as like the Pompeii of the Middle East, which is, given what I'm seeing so far, I think that nickname is quite apropos. This is an ancient hippodrome, so this was known for like chariot races and all sorts, and I can just picture it now like something like out of Ben-Hur or something. And this hippodrome in particular, back in its heyday, you could get like 17,000 spectators in here. So imagine that, imagine if they were able to rebuild the hippodrome and, you know, performances and all sorts. I'm sure that would be lovely. I mean, I've got no songs to perform, so I'll just keep that as it is. This here is the Temple of Zeus, dedicated to the Greek god of the same name. It's interesting like how a lot of Jerash, a lot of the structures you'll notice when I go around, this was all mostly destroyed in an earthquake back in 749 AD. So it's crazy to think there's still elements of it that are still standing. But it's great to look at. Hang on a second. Nice to see that my head is protecting you from the sun. Nice little view up here. Obviously I will go up to the temple in just a moment, and there's still loads to kind of go over here at Jerash, but look at this view, especially of this little plaza here. I know I saw it from down there just a few minutes ago, but this view up here is lovely. I think I can hear, I don't know if that's just me, I think I can hear bagpipes. I'm sure there's an amphitheatre nearby, and I'm sure I'm hearing bagpipes. We're not in Scotland, we're in Jordan. What's going on? I tell you what, the make of this amphitheatre looks very similar to the one I saw in Amman yesterday. Hold on, let me try something. Hello! Oh, that's quite an echo. Whoa. There are some really good acoustics in this amphitheatre, so I'm gonna get a bit more of a closer look up the amphitheatre. So I am correct in my assumption, these are bagpipes playing, but ironically it feels a long way from Scotland to be playing these bagpipes. Now that is Scotland brave. I tell you what's quite funny is, like, with these bagpipes playing in the background, I'm of Scottish ancestry, so this actually feels quite lovely. Hello. That's why is it every time I see a cat I just go, hello, hello, you look lovely. Suddenly just looking at all these columns, I'm thinking back to like old school Assassin's Creed games. I would love to do something like parkour, maybe. I'll probably get kicked out of Jerash for doing so, but doing a nice little bit of parkour, going from column to column, and yeah. So this here is the shrine of Artemis, who was the patron goddess of Jerash, ancient Jerash. And of course, like I mentioned, a lot of these structures were destroyed in the 749 AD earthquake, but it's nice to see these columns have been, you know, restored, and, you know, they're still standing. That's what I love about, like, as I was saying to you, these, like, marvels of the ancient world, how they're still standing after, like, you know, thousands of years. I tell you what, it's quite interesting walking through like the remnants of like ancient Roman civilization. It always gets me thinking back to Monty Python's Life of Brian, like especially during that scene where it's like, what did the Romans ever do for us? And it's like, well, roads, the aqueducts, sanitation, governance, all sorts. I can't remember the exact quotes, but it's just something that's like one of the characters is obviously trying to make an argument, trying to say, oh, the Romans are bad, but then obviously there's this argument of all these good things that the Romans have done for us, and even to this day we're thankful for the Romans for a lot of things. Okay, I'm back in the Central Plaza now, and I tell you what, it has kind of got me thinking of all the columns about, and things that centre stage, and there's a column here, even though I'm thinking of like the Basilica in the Vatican City. It's interesting how yeah, I don't know why it's got me thinking about that, but yeah, if this were replaced with an obelisk, then obviously you kind of got like a mirror image, you could say. But yeah, this is lovely. Okay, so just like that, I'm now heading back to the entrance. I'm gonna go meet up with Zaid, and then I think we're gonna head back to Amman from there. I am very tired, but I tell you what I have loved about today is just getting to view these like settlements and these fortresses and all sorts, and for the most part they are still intact and preserved to this day. And it reminds me just one of the things why I loved history growing up, and I love kind of like living through history, you could say, whenever I go on these like excursions to like ancient ruins and all sorts. So yeah, it makes me feel like I was there in the moment like thousands of years ago. And yeah, I guess you could say living through history. That's what we should call the title of the vlog. Living through history in Jordan. Well, Jerash, you've been lovely, and I'm sure I'll come back to you in the future. Whoa, God, that was close. Didn't even see that step missing there. Take care, man. Yeah, keep glasses on. Have a good evening, Safe. Take care. And just like that, I am back in my hotel. I am exhausted today, and I'm gonna go freshen up shortly and treat myself to a good night's sleep ahead of tomorrow, which I'll talk about in a moment. But can I just say what an absolute pleasure today has been. First of all, I want to shout out Zaif, who has been an incredible driver, and here's a little picture of the two of us. He, bless him, he didn't want to be like on camera on video, so instead I decided to just like put in that little clip at the end. Here's a little picture of us, of course. And shout out to Amjad as well, who was my guide in Qais. He had a very great sense of humour, and he had a lot of great knowledge of Qais and kind of like all the border regions around that region of Jordan. But what an incredible day today has been. Qais, Ajloun and Jerash, all of that in the space of a day, and my legs are paying the price for it. I do just want to just point back on quickly with Zaid today. He has just been wonderful to talk to. We talked about all sorts of things. We talked about like kind of like what he does in terms of like for the Jordanian Tourism Board, what he does in terms of like what he has done for work in the past. He mentioned he lived in Australia for a few years back in day, and we talked about all sorts of topics, and especially I guess it's kind of a bit of a touchy-feely subject to talk about, especially with what's going on just a few hundred miles away in Gaza right now. We talked about a lot of common misconceptions towards like Muslims and like Islam as a whole, and a bit like what I talked about yesterday after visiting the King Abdullah Mosque. It's interesting because it's these kind of like experiences that I get where it's like you get a different perspective like from what like the Western world is telling you, and I think it's important that we take these lessons to like seek for the truth, because in this day and age, again, like I mentioned yesterday, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misconceptions, a lot of Islamophobia, and it's just not right. And obviously, of course, my solidarity goes towards anyone who is affected by what's going on in Gaza at the moment, and I know people who are directly and indirectly affected by it, And you know, peace to those who are still fighting the good fight. It feels a bit awkward now, kind of trying to transition from that to talk about what I am going to be doing tomorrow. But tomorrow is a big day, and likewise Thursday for that matter, because I am doing a 2-day trek of Petra, Wadi Rum, camping overnight in the desert, and the Dead Sea, all in the space of 2 days. I'm absolutely excited for it. So I'm going to treat myself to an early night, and it's a very early start tomorrow because I think it's 6:30. My pickup's coming from, and yeah, it's going to be fun. But I'm absolutely buzzing. Today's been incredible, and I'm going to probably go to sleep because I'm tired. So on that note, I will leave you with some advice, and that is always to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.